might be a lot of stupid people that listen to us, and they don't like our highfalutin talk all the time.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining Drew and me on another Sunday where I'm talking to him from Kansas City and the Kansas City area.
And
Actually,
I'm talking to you from prison.
yes. We've been doing this for a couple years, and we thought that it would be pretty good to talk about some of our favorite quotes. We've been on this journey reading multiple books, swapping stories, trying to get meaning out of these books, and we thought that it'd be good to record some high-end quotes that have been meaningful for us in our lives. And so I'll start it off with the first one, and it's a quote that actually I had back in high school. I actually had it embroidered on the back of my Letterman's jacket, and it had a guy behind another throwing him on his back, nice embroidery, and it said, "The more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed in war." And that's a Chinese proverb that really meant a lot to me because I believed in preparation. I started high school with pretty ignorant, about wrestling, and I knew I needed to catch up with a lot of people that have been doing it more often. Back when I was in fourth grade, before I moved to the Philippines, I was actually wrestling with the Henderson boys. So Dan Henderson, the ultimate UFC fighter, and went to the Olympics twice. His dad was a coach, and I really enjoyed it. That's when I caught the bug when I was in way back in fourth grade. But then I went overseas, and wrestling wasn't a thing. When I came back, I knew I needed to get busy, get strong, get dedicated, and really that has become the mantra in my life, is really to focus on where I want to go and what can I do to prepare for that, whether it's athletics or school or work. And it's paid big dividends in my life so far. It helps me get through life's challenges. So that's a big one for me. The more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed in war. What do you got,
All right,
Drew?
man. I like that. I brought my little tablet. I have some quotes written down here. Um, Quotes are nice. I got to live them, though. I write down a lot of quotes. I have several journals that I'm constantly, pouring into and feeding, and I'm going to read some today. But man, the power is in the application. Kind of like, I like that quote about you: the more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed in war. And you're going to just apply that to your life and your career path. I mean, you're obviously an extreme example. Your career in wrestling prior to going into the military and special operations. But a lot of us, don't want to bleed at work, bleed in our marriage, bleed in our relationships. I don't want to bleed in prison, so, so that's an obvious one.
Hey, that's a good one.
And
Yeah, because you gotta keep it straight. Keep your nose clean and not be stepping on
sometimes
people's
like the
toes.
more you humble yourself, the less you bleed in prison, I guess. So, be exercising wisdom. I have 3 rules for doing time that I preach often, and the whole point of it is to not only not frustrate yourself, but not to be a frustration to others. So, man, I'll give you my first quote. A lot of different conversation we can have. We were bantering back and forth before we started the video. But I'll give you one by Henry David Thoreau. It says, "I make myself rich by making my wants few." And that one speaks to me. All of us have a plan to prosper. When I was young out there on the streets, I wanted it all. I mean, we live and breathe in a consumerist society. From a very early age, I coveted shoes, or when I got a car, then I coveted a certain kind of car, or a radio, or a system that I had to have in my car. The problem was not just that there's all these things that I wanted, but the fact that I wanted them made me feel like I was lacking in my life, which, leads to poor choices. Easy money goes easily. Obviously, I had some jobs. I came up in a good family, our family. But my issue was my wants. It was the twofold thing between the things that I wanted, and what was I willing to do to get them. And obviously, having ended up here in prison because I wanted to rob and steal, and terrible things happened as a result of that. But even in here, the same issue will still rise in you, whether it's like commissary or whatever. But I make myself rich by keeping my wants few in life. I think it's something that can be kind of molded and shaped and applied to a lot of different aspects, because society wants to fill me with discontentment, fill me with images. Now, I've never been on the internet. I've never seen an Instagram, a TikTok, or any of that kind of stuff. All these images, and what happens was I look at this, whatever it is, and suddenly I'm dissatisfied with what I really have in life. Nothing against aspiring, because aspiring is good, so there's a balance to it. You want to aspire, but you want to aspire the right way. Does that make sense? So I make myself rich by making my wants few. I think I'll be happier in life if I'm not running around wanting, desiring, coveting. Keeping my wants low, and then I'll feel rich and content with a lot of different aspects.
Hey, Drew, I like that one, and I was just re-listening to a little, Benjamin Hardy on Be Your Future Self, and he said, hey, you need to focus on three major goals. If the old Jim Collins back in the day that wrote the book Good to Great, he said companies will kill themselves by having too many goals and be focusing on too many things, and you need to neck it down to three. It can be three big ones, but if you have more than that, then you're going to dilute yourself, and what you will accomplish will actually be at a lower level. So that quote's a pretty good one, and it definitely applies to me, because you can get, when you especially when you have a robust work and a exciting family, and you want to do things personally, you can overwhelm yourself with a lot of uh, small goals, and you can burn up your life chasing those small goals. That was a good one. My second quote.
Sean Stevenson, I'm sorry, Sean Stevenson from the Model Health Show. I
Yeah.
love this dude's podcast, and he was talking about one thing that he elaborates a lot on is, the highly processed foods that we live in.
Yeah.
You turn over, any sort of packaged item, and you see just like this humongous litany of things that are in it. And he said we need to start seeking out singular ingredient foods.
Yeah.
That the more singular ingredient foods you have, like carrots. What's in carrots? Carrots.
Yeah.
Carrots are in carrots.
Yeah.
What's in beans? Beans. He was saying even in his home. I remember going into your mom's pantry when I was growing up, and your mom had like all these things in these glass jars. Remember that?
Yep. Yep.
Anyways, it was a big walk-in pantry, and it was just like, what is all this? Why is everything? But they were singular ingredients. It was a bean. It was a certain type of bean. It was.
Yep.
Anyways, the point is, the more ingredients didn't mean the more healthy. It really means the more unhealthy. How many things in my life am I seeking out that if I turned over and read a label of it, it's got 1,000 highly processed ingredients to it?
Yeah. And then
Friendships, relationships, communication. That's what maybe I need to turn over my goal and look at my goal and say, is this a singular ingredient goal, or is this a highly processed, refined, terrible thing for me?
Yeah.
Kind of goal.
Well, how many distractions are in that goal, right? When you eat a highly processed food and you throw in 26 different ingredients with one little health bar, is that distracting your body trying to process all that crap and get rid of the waste, versus your body focusing on digesting the nutrients and then building muscle, process, giving you energy to your brain, so then your body can focus its energy on learning and growing and getting stronger. So I think there's something to that. It's that breaking away the distractions, pushing those, simplifying life, focusing, because then you can actually go higher and faster and harder, if you do that.
How about this? How about love? How about joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness,
Yeah.
and self-control? Without such, no one shall see the Father. This goes back
Yep.
singular ingredient lifestyle.
Yep.
Not this highly processed. And I'm guilty of it, man. I'm guilty of watching some of these super dumb shows, and it's a highly processed life, and people are barely clothed, and it's all image driven, and then I want to be more image driven, and I want to be. There's nothing wrong with being more in shape. I want to be healthy. I want to be. I'm about to turn 45. I want to be the leanest, meanest 45 there is in this side of Washington State. But what is my motivation for that? Is that a highly processed goal, or is that a singular ingredient goal? Do I want to live a long life to serve those that God has put in my life, those that I love, or am I trying to have this highly processed where I want to be coveted? I want everybody to look at me and covet and want to be like me. And that's just why I just need to turn over and look at the label of my heart, look at the label of my mind,
Yeah.
and say, man, what is in this junk? What is
Yep.
in me? You
I
know?
I like that. I think that's good, right? What is in your brain? What are you thinking? What are you, discerning or perceiving in the environment that's meaningful? And you
Yeah.
need to measure those ingredients. You need to cut out the crap and the
Yeah.
noise. Yeah, I think that leads to this second quote that I want to hit. I really like this one. This one fell on us after we started reading books. Um, I don't know if you'd heard it before, but the Serenity Prayer. God, grant me the
Oh,
serenity to
who
accept the
hasn't heard of
things.
this?
What? What's
I said,
that?
who hasn't heard of this?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't. It didn't come on to me until the last 5 years. But God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
The
And
wisdom to
so
know the difference.
I think that I really like that prayer, that quote. I looked it up in Wikipedia. It's contested on where it originated from. There's multiple versions over the last century and a half, but it permutated up until World War II, and then this is the final version has sort of been out there as um, the current state, and it really focuses on virtuous living, right? Trying to achieve peace of mind, to accept the things you cannot change, to then also take on courage and work towards things that might be hard to change, but to go for it, and to have that virtue of courage to push towards the things that you want, and like you said, as long as it's for a good motivation, but then also to have the wisdom to know what you can change and what you need to accept or work around and navigate, because you don't want to waste energy on futile goals and futile challenges that you're never going to overcome. And I also think it can help you get past some of your mistakes, and then look to the future. And you can't change the past if you made a mistake. All you can do is now build upon it and try to do better. And so to me, that's really good. It builds positive forward momentum, and despite challenges or stumbles or fumbles, and is a really good reminder when you're frustrated, and you go back to that habit of, okay, I'll give myself 1 minute to be pissed off about what just happened, but then I need to get over it, and it's time to move on. Hey, what can I work on next to make a difference? Let's go, and let's have the courage to do that. So that's a good one that I think pivots off of the last quote that you just had.
No, that's good. Just from county jail on, people go to church, but a lot of people go to AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, and that is the chief staple prayer of both of those groups. And so I learned that one many, many years. Shocked you just came on to it 5 years ago. Where have you been, Colonel?
Yeah.
Sleeping under a rock. Um, okay, I'll drop down to a different one. In the awareness of your own struggle, you'll find room to be forgiving of both yourself and of those around you, and of the people around you. That's a big one for me. Even in the last quote you just said about the Serenity Prayer and the wisdom to know the difference, right?
Yeah.
A friend told me years ago. This is back in closed custody. He said, sometimes you could be right, but push being so right, you become wrong.
Yeah. Yep.
And what kind of happens is, when you're completely intolerant of those around you, it's because you are blind and unaware of your own struggle in your own life. The more, it's just like, sometimes life has to humble you. Sometimes you could be an effective person, but that doesn't make you a good person.
Yep.
Sometimes you could be a great achiever. It doesn't mean you're anybody that I want to talk to or spend time with. The person I want to talk to and spend time with not only has great achievements in her life, but also has great humility, or has been through humbling situations in life that has given them a deeper wisdom. See, sometimes success and achievement doesn't give you all the wisdom you need to live. And that's why I feel that failure is a necessary element in our life. Okay, sometimes you can have failure and still not get it.
Yep.
And you're still, I can't tell you how many people around here are completely intolerant. Matter of fact, that's a characteristic of prisoners, the intolerance thing, which is ironic, and we can get off on that another time.
That's
But
pretty
in
good.
awareness of our own struggle, I find room to not only be forgiving of myself, but of the people around me. And so, if I want to be a rich blessing to my family, my loved ones, the people that end up in my life, it's not going to necessarily come from just me extending sympathies, but empathy. Recognizing that I too have missed the mark.
Yep.
That I don't always hit the ball out of the park, that I say the wrong thing, feel the wrong thing, think the wrong thing, and that it's difficult for me to be the man that I really aspire to be every day.
You know what?
That's my second quote.
I like that. I think that when you show your vulnerability, there's an authenticity there. And then if you're all open to feedback on how maybe somebody else's advice can help you with your vulnerability, I think that's a key that enables connection with others, and through that then it creates a stronger, better relationship, right? So it's I think those are the key things. It's not just recognizing your own failings and then you realize that other people have that, and you're not get past judgment and get past people having failures, and then just help each other out. And if you can open up and be authentic and be vulnerable, and be open to feedback, and then then people are going to be open to your feedback, and then that's how you build strong bonds. So I think your quote has great meaning there.
Yeah, a lot of times I start the day and I'm focused how I want people to treat me. And then my attitude is built off my reaction to that. So somebody
Yeah.
smarts off to me early in the day, or, these little slights, these little offenses, right? Then now when you impact me, you're going to be dealing with the ramifications of how I feel about those slights. And, but if I start the day focused just on how I want to treat people, irregardless of how I'm treated, right, I'm going to be of greater worth, of greater service, of greater impact to wherever I go in life. And I'm talking about just my work environment, working for my boss, being effective in what I do. Because if I'm tiling, or I'm doing these renovation things, and I'm all mad and ticked off about something that happened 2.5 hours ago at Mainline, and chances are, and this is the history of my life, that the person that pissed me off isn't even thinking about it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just stewing on it.
Yeah.
I'm focused on how he treated me, and now I'm not thinking about how I'm treating other people. I'm short with other people. I just need to reverse that. I need
Yep.
to really get on top of that initially and say, hey, number one, it's okay for me to be treated what I deem as unfairly in life. And especially where I'm at in life.
Yeah.
Like, I got that coming after all that I've done. But man, we didn't even get through four quotes. That was pretty good. I
Yeah,
hope
we got.
the people listening grew from that.
Well, it even you didn't share your quotes with me, right? So you gotta increase your email output. Get a little more sleep, do a little more dialogue, and then we'll be able to, but spontaneously, I liked your quotes and hearing what you had to say, because it is great value.
Yeah, I'm not gonna prep you ahead of time. I'm not gonna give you a chance to either like or dislike my quote. I'm gonna share it to you in real time, man. You and the whole world can hear at the same time.
All right.
Hey, man, I want to give a shout out. Sean Stevenson, the Model Health Show. I love that podcast. I grow from that thing multiple times a week. And then also, my last quote I took from Eric Greitens out of his book Resilience, because I think he's had some great achievements and some great failures in his life, and I find I'm akin to that, where
Yep.
I'm at in life. So
Yep.
Eric Wright, that's where I got the. And then I started off with Henry David Thoreau, and he's dead, so he's not going to hear from us. But
Hey, he's the great grandfather of independent
yeah,
thinking and independent living, right?
yeah,
So, hey, Drew, it's great to talk to you. Colonelandconvict.com is where
yeah,
this podcast is going to be posted. It's also on YouTube. We'll get this uploaded. We'd love to hear from
yeah.
people, and here someday soon, maybe we'll even get on some of those podcasts you're watching and be featured guests once we can get ourselves squared away and generate some material that
Yeah.
really benefit people.
I'm believing for it, man. I'm believing for it. And if anybody listening, I'd like them to reach out and give us what quote has impacted your life and why. Share something with us, and if so, we'll talk about it next week on the next podcast. So
All right, let's do a
I'd like
repeat.
to know what has changed in your life, man. I love you.
Hey, I love you too. Let's do a repeat on the rest of our quotes next week. And
Yeah, you want to do that? You want to finish some quotes?
yeah, that sounds good. And let's keep on reading
All
the
right.
other book that you gave me.
So, Brian, hopefully we have some quotes from some listeners too. So maybe we'll be able to discuss those too. That would be interesting. Man, I love you. God bless you.
Have a great week, Drew.